Evening. All right, today we're going to take a look at the formidable LLV. That's the Light Logistics Vehicle. As you can see here, it's basically in the LAV section. You have to pick your flavor. You either want Galante or you want Caldari. I've obviously got more skills in Galante, so I'm probably going to go with Galante. Caldari has a slight advantage that the AV grenades are not as effective against shields, so it's just worth bearing that in mind. But the way these things operate is obviously there are different types of LAVs, as I'm sure you've seen. You have your standards, you then have your logistics, and then you have your scouts. So today we're just going to look at the logistics LAV, I guess. And really the difference is this is supposed to be a support vehicle. It's not in any sense. This is literally Satan's, weekend ride. It is just ridiculously overpowered. But amazingly fun, so that's why we're going to have a look at it. So what I've gone with is the Limbus. That is the logistics vehicle for the Galante race. And this thing is obviously then based around armor tanking. So you can see here, let's take a look at some fittings. Now, again, fittings is always a funny thing. I think you have a kind of simple options, basically. If you go with Galante, you're going to need to armor tank it, because that's really how they've been set up. If you go for Caldari, you're going to need to shield tank it. Again, that's kind of the preset skills. That's also the way the modules are fit. So having 3 lows and 3 highs pretty much sets it apart from the other standard LAVs. This thing is pretty much built to armor tank. Now, the thing is, I don't have particularly great skills in armor tanking on this character, so I've gone with a particularly crap fit. Now, I think, again, I'm showing you a terrible fit here. This is just to try and make it work. Armor hardeners and basically plates. I wouldn't recommend that. I mean, again, my initial thinking here was, oh, I know, I'll run a logistics fit and then repair it. Bad idea. Don't do that. Always fit a repper. I'll show maybe some fits again later with this, because I think you have a choice. You either active harden this, you need to actually activate your hardeners, or you passive harden it. And in a fit that I used a bit later on, certainly after this match, I ran passive hardeners, which I think was just a bit easier to manipulate. Again, running lots of active modules on a car that basically a vehicle that you have to kind of use the wheel to activate is risky unless you're using controller, and I'm not using controller. So I think this is why I switched to more of a passive fit, just because I didn't have to manage it as much. However, that being said, this is a fantastic vehicle. The real purpose of this vehicle is supposedly to support infantry, so it could have infantry in front of it, and this thing would kind of cruise behind as a turret, and then also providing armor reps, remote armor reps. It doesn't do that because, let's face it, most people get in these things to just drive them around as murder taxis. So, and that's pretty much what I'm using it for as well. I promise you we will show some footage where we actually use it as a proper squad car. Just certainly not in this video. This was pretty much a, hey, let's get the new car that looks like a great big angry wasp, and let's just go and drive around the map and see who we can run down. It's a shame in a way, because I think they are a bit overpowered for this, and I think also just the fact that they should be logistics vehicles, is maybe we need to find a way to make them do that. Do you know what I mean? It's like, the idea of actually having this thing supporting a troop or a squad is fantastic. I think that would be quite good. But again, I've not seen a single person use them in that manner yet. They're using them pretty much as very fast, incredibly strong tanking vehicles. And as you can see, this is pretty much what they do. They basically, Lindsay Lohan into people and kill them, and that's pretty much all they do. And that's a shame in a way, because they have so much more capability with them, and I think they look particularly awesome as well. I was really blown away by the fact that it looks like, as I say, a kind of aggressive bumblebee. I love the kind of color coding on them as well. It does mean that when you see one of these coming, you think, right, let's get the hell out of the way. Because again, you're not going to kill it with standard stuff. We had 2 forge gunners shooting both of our deployed LLVs, and look at that, he got shot directly on with a forge gun. Didn't do much, did it? So this is maybe a thing for active hardening. Maybe active hardening is better, because again, you can have 2 hardeners running. giving what 40%, 50%, armor reduction thing, bonus. With the passives, I think the most you can get is 30. Again, not too shabby. So I think you kind of pick your particular preferred method. If you're using controller, I would suggest stick with the active, because again, you're probably easier and able to activate these modules. They run for a minute, which is brilliant. And their cooldown is obviously manageable. So I think probably stick with active if you have the ability to control them. Oh, bit of an RTA there. We hit each other as we go by, but this was it. Me and White Mortadella basically just rolling around with these things, having a bit of laugh, and they are game breaking. I'm not saying we do this as a tactic all the time. It's not another MCC sniping, so I know certain people have been kind of painting me with a picture of being an MCC sniper. Honestly, I'm not. And I think this is not a tactic we're going to do. I think, to be honest, I'd welcome any nerf that brought these things back to do what they're supposed to do in their intended role. Maybe something along... I don't know, how on earth could you fix this? You can't. You can't reduce the effective hit points of it, because that then reduces the point of it being a logistics vehicle. I think maybe just make it so that it can't run people over. Well, that sucks. Well, it's boring, isn't it? So I have no idea how you would actually even, nerf these things to stop them being ridiculously overpowered murder taxes. Post in the comments if you have an idea, because I really don't. They are fun though, and I think they don't take a lot of skill points to get into, so I think I would recommend people perhaps consider getting them. In terms of price, they're quite expensive, 200k per fit, and they're not exactly going to be impervious to all damage. So there you go. Anyway, there you go. Hope you enjoyed that. The LLV, I think it's well worth a look. Plus, it's great fun, and I think you're going to have an absolute blast if you use them. Just try not to run too many people over, like you're going to do that. Hope you enjoyed that. See you next time.